Shout out Bodak the Swim. Montgomery Brawl. New shit, really all of them. Montgomery Brawl. Shout out Wolf with the Chair. Montgomery Brawl. Everybody that was there.
Yeah, I'm still listening to it. Hey y'all, hey, and welcome to Tootie Talk Sense, or welcome back, because I had to end my last video because my baby, we got the fussing because her daddy was outside and she wanted to go outside with her daddy. So I had to end my last video, y'all. So I'm going to pick back up where I left off from. Also, if you wasn't in the last video, go ahead, go watch it. Hey to everybody. Hey to all my new subscribers. Don't forget to follow me on all social media. Facebook, Tootie Talk Sense. Instagram is Tootie Talk Sense. Twitter is Tootie Talk. Fan base Black on Isaac Hayes Jr. That's Tootie Talk Sense as well. If you want to donate to the channel, there's the Cash App, Tootie Talk Sense. Now, let's continue where we left off at. Now that I got my baby settled. Which one we was on, y'all? Which one was we on? No, not still on her boyfriend. I believe we was right here, y'all. Yes, we was on the allegations against Lizzo. Briefly explain. I'm gonna go up from the beginning. I know this ain't where we left off from, but I'm gonna go up to the beginning of the story so we could just, have a starting point. So it's the lawsuit brought by plaintiff Krista Williams, Ariana Davis, and Noel Rodriguez alleged 9 areas of misconduct in total related to their experience on Lizzo's special tour. Some of these claims are against all 3 defendants, including Lizzo, Quigley, and Big Girls. Big Touring Incorporated is girls like that, while others are only alleged of some of the defendants. Additionally, some of the claims are made by all 3 plaintiffs, while others only made by individual plaintiffs. The civil lawsuit was filed in Los Angeles Superior Court and could result in monetary damages for the plaintiff if it were to move forward and the defendant were found liable. Prior to filing the suit, Davis and Williams had been fired from the dance troupe, while Rodriguez said she resigned over how poorly her colleagues were treated. The allegations made against all 3 defendants include a hostile work environment that features sexual harassment, a failure to prevent or remedy sexual harassment in the workplace, and a failure to prevent or remedy religious harassment in the workplace. The plaintiffs claimed that they were made to feel their employees was precautionary and that they had to comply with requests that made them feel uncomfortable in order to continue working. Some of those requests were of a sexual nature, including, amongst other things, pressure from Lizzo to attend a performance with nude dancers in Amsterdam, to eat bananas placed in nude dancer genitalia. That's why I told you, eating bananas out there with JJ. And pressure on one of the plaintiffs to touch a dancer's breast. Other allegations was tied to religious harassment. The suit alleged Quigley spoke extensively about her religious views as a Christian and berated those who didn't share these beliefs. It claims that one dancer virginity was frequently discussed without her consent, and that dancers was pressured to participate in group Christian prayers regardless of their religious belief. All 3 defendants did little to remedy such action despite knowing about them, the lawsuit claims. I think all of the calls of actions have some merit and some chance of succeeding. In my opinion, the strongest cause of action in the sexual harassment charge is the sexual harassment charge. I think it's likely that a reasonable person would think that behavior created a hostile work environment. Chicago Kent employment law professor Nicole Porter told Vox. Porter noted that one possible defense could center on how much disclosure the plaintiff had about the experience they should expect to encounter in this role. Another part of the suit highlighted concerns Lizzo had allegedly expressed about Davis' struggle on tour, including comments Davis perceived as thinly veiled concern about weight gain. Such statement followed alleged remarks Lizzo previously made about Davis' weight, which the suit claimed led her to feel self-conscious and required to speak on the issue. The suit detailed two a gruelingly surprise audition dancers already hired on the tour had to undergo in order to keep their position, during which Davis sold herself out of fear that she would lose her spot as a dancer if she went to the restroom. Davis claimed she was then given transparent shorts to change into. Lizzo has denied these allegations and has yet to signal what steps she plans to take. Why the lawsuit is so significant. The lawsuit underscores the poor working conditions in the music industry, the lack of accountability that exists for such abuse. Long hours, difficult physical labor, short term contracts are common, while institutionalized oversight of individual artists isn't always present. Other artisans, including Cher and Britney Spears, have been sued by their employees in the past for allegedly discrimination and battery, respectively. For example, Cher's case was dismissed and Spears settled her case. The sort of workplace described by the plaintiffs lends itself to harassment and exploitation, says Martha Davis, a law professor at Northeastern University. In this case, for example, there were not clear lines between employees' own time and their job while on tour. That's what I said. I was like, it sounds like the Amsterdam thing was some personal things that workers went to. But let me continue. The lawsuit has felt more surprising to some fans given the public position Lizzo has taken on promoting women empowerment and celebrating plus size body. That's me. I'm a plus size girl. I'm a big girl. I'm a big girl. Sad note, have y'all seen that Survivor of the Thickest Netflix? Like that, watch it. Now, aspects of the lawsuit, such as the alleged statement concerning weight, appears to directly contradict those instances. Other development have brought attention to the case as well, including Beyonce's decision not to mention Lizzo's name while singing a song that's referenced her in a recent concert. And some fans' lyrics in Izzo's song "Rumor" has taken a direct tender to the wake of the lawsuit. In that song, she refers to people trying to sue her, mentioning non-disclosure agreement, and sings about not caring about legal matters. The suit is also renewing discussion among pop culture observers online about the need for stars to be held responsible for bad behavior and the disparities that continue to exist on that front. Like anyone fielding such allegation, Lizzo has faced the legal process and potential consequences for any harm she caused, but she also likely to get more blowback for such a lawsuit than would a white male star like Brad Pitt or Johnny Depp, both of whom have field allegations of abuse and denied them due to sexualism, racism, and fat phobia she has to deal with. So now, y'all, that was a lot. I need some water. Now, when her lawsuit came out, like I said, it was the initial three. So then one of the girls, a video ended up surfacing. I want to say TMZ end up putting a video out of the one of the accusers making a video about how much she admired Lizzo, and this was after the tour, after season one that she was on. So it brought a little doubt to her claim. I'm gonna share it with y'all. And this is from MSN.com. The name of let me see the title of this article. So if y'all want to go read the whole thing, Lizzo accuses the video of praising Star. I'm not going to go into everything. I want to just show y'all the video.
People need to hear because I think they can relate to it, and I think
what is
change lives and do what Lizzo's doing. I look up to her so much, and I just want to follow in her footsteps and not only be an amazing dancer, but be an amazing singer and storyteller. I love to write music. I love to sing. And I just want to share that with the Queen Lizzo herself.
So that's the video that surfaced once this lawsuit came out. And so, in a statement shared with Newsweek, Davis has defended her praise of Lizzo in the leaked video clip, explaining that she was attempting to save her job. Of course, I wasn't going to say anything negative about the camp while I was in it, Davis said. Right up until the last minute, I didn't realize how bad it was and how much I was being taken advantage of. I just genuinely wanted to save my job. The video further explains how much I was trying to please Lizzo, but it was such a toxic work environment because throughout all the abuse, I was still trying to please her and make her think that I was good enough. The video was done before the bulk of our allegations occurred, Davis added, and this was just me grasping at straws in my last attempt to make her see how committed I was to being loyal to her and her camp. Davis is suing Lizzo alongside fellow dancer Crystal and Noel. They retained the service of the attorney Ron Zambrano, a partner in an employment litigation chair at West Coast Employment. And so this is all about everything else that I already went through. So I believe they said there's an additional six people, six more people who will probably join the lawsuit. So I said, oh, it's not looking so good. But that video did not look good either. The one that we just watched about her accusers. Now, after that stuff came out, it's been people who have worked with Lizzo. I want to say one who was doing a documentary who was like, she chose not to continue because it was a hostile work environment shooting Lizzo documentary. There's also was this woman who came out who said Lizzo was not nice to her, but come to find out, Lizzo was screwing her man behind her back, baby. And she was with the man for 10 years, ended up working with Lizzo. Lizzo then took that man, okay? And she said that's why she ended up figuring Lizzo wasn't nice to her because she threw her man. And it was very difficult and everything that she went to. Now, recently, they also were saying that that man that Lizzo then stole, right? He he didn't. I said, what is my printer going on? He didn't laugh Lizzo after these lawsuits. But now Lizzo Kemp is denying that the man didn't laugh. So let's update you on that, baby. That's what I say. If I had to update y'all every day, on these things as it happened, I'll be over there updating y'all every day because it's something say like something come out every day about Lizzo. Let me see. Lizzo Q. Lizzo denies. That's not the right one. Yes. Talking to my daughter. Trying to go see her friend. Nope. Is that one. So, Lizzo denies split from long-term boyfriend amid sexual harassment allegation because it was being reported that they had split up. But this is the article of Lizzo saying, "Nah, we still together." So Lizzo has seemingly denied splitting from her boyfriend after over 2 years together. The pop star declared TV star Mike Wright, 35, the love of her life, and hasn't been shy about flaunting their romance on red carpets over recent months. However, it was said that their relationship had to come to a bitter end with Lizzo, also 35, deleting all traces of him from her Instagram, unfollowing Mike, who even traveled the world with her on her tour. Mike ain't got no job. He got time to just travel with Lizzo. They said TV star. I don't know who Mike is. As reported by The Sun, her relationship with Mike became strained once dancer of Lizzo filed a sexual harassment lawsuit against her. He's like, it's too hot in the kitchen. I'm out. So, although a spokesperson for Lizzo has now said there is no truth to the reports, and Lizzo and Mike are still dating. The rumor split came after Mike's ex-girlfriend, Brooklyn Elizabeth Brown, made her own shocking claim about Lizzo being mean to her and taking her man from her. Now let me see. Let me see. She did a little. It was a lot longer. So she did a video explaining the situation of Lizzo taking her man, y'all.
I first met Lizzo late 2016, 2017 ish. She and my boyfriend were co hosting a show on MTV called Wonderland. And no, she wasn't very nice. She wasn't very nice to me. I knew she didn't like me, but the people around her were nice. Like her sister seemed nice. And I kind of ignored it because I felt like, well, she's already like in this celebrity scene or whatever. So she probably just feels like she has better things to do than talk to me. And I just noticed that, like, even when we were just out to eat or at the beach or something, she still wasn't very nice to me. And it wasn't like a production thing, like, oh, she's just really busy or whatever. She just didn't like me. She didn't say anything that was mean, but she was really like standoffish or like wouldn't talk to me.
Yeah, she
Like when I talked to her,
very
it was kind of
mean.
like, oh,
I
okay,
know she
like
was.
get the fuck away from me. I don't want to talk to you. So yeah, I eventually found out that she and my boyfriend has something going on, ex-boyfriend. And that was that. I left the relationship. I mean, yeah, it was heartbreaking. I mean, I was with him for 10 years. I supported him through everything.
Okay, so the video is actually a whole 10 minutes, y'all. But I'm not gonna watch the whole 10 minutes. Let's go back to the article that we was reading. Just wanted to share with y'all what she had said. So, but Lizzo said, and that's the mic, the one she's talking about who left her. So in a 10-minute TikTok shared last week, Brooklyn, who dated Mike for a decade, said she was heartbroken. I supported him through everything, and when he finally got a big break, he left me for Lizzo. She said. Meanwhile, I say like Mike is a clout chaser. He's looking out for Mike. Okay, 10 years. He's like, thank you. The next big thing that came along, 10 to go. But meanwhile, a source close to Lizzo claims she's doing so great. Lizzo has taken the past few weeks very hard and her relationship has suffered, They told the Sun. They had a big falling out and she is really upset. Both of them have thoughts of themselves as soulmates, so for it to end has been hard on them. Those close to them are hoping they will make up. Her alleged split was yet another blow for Lizzo, who has reportedly been dropped as a contender for the Super Bowl. Oh, wow. I said, oh, because, I don't know if we didn't ever had a big girl on the Super Bowl. That would have been real good for her. But she was reportedly dropped from the Super Bowl halftime show amid the bombshell suit filed against her. According to the reports, the Juice hitmaker team is fighting to save her sinking ship of a career after the Grammy winner was accused of harassment and shaming. For a quick recap, earlier this month, fans of the Body Positive were left stunned when Crystal Williams, Noel Rodriguez, and Ariana Davis accused Lizzo of discrimination and creating a hostile work environment. The About Downtown hitmaker vehemently denied the allegations, branding them outrageous and sensationalized. Okay. In the latest development, though it had been said that Lizzo's name has been ditched from a list of stars NFL bosses was considering for the February 2024 spectacular in Las Vegas, a source told DailyMail.com. Talks of Lizzo and part of the halftime festival or performing the national anthem are dead now that she is surrounded by scandal. The annual Super Bowl performances are produced by Jay-Z Rock Nation record label. What's more, the 53-year-old rapper has canceled his upcoming Made in America festival, which Lizzo was due to headline after the singer was hit by her dancers allegation. Another insider told Daily Mirror her team is desperately trying to come up with a strategy to salvage her reputation and music career. They added, it is becoming more and more difficult with more people coming forward accusing her of extremely inappropriate acts. Yeah. Lizzo has ranked in a massive amount of money, but her minute is pretty much up, it seems, and no one knows if she will be able to cover from this. If she speak out, her statements are shredded. If she stay quiet, she's called a coward. Either way, it does not appear at this moment that she can recover from this. From the initial claim, Lizzo has also reportedly been accused by at least 6 more people of inappropriate sexual behavior. Attorney representing the lawsuit being brought against the Star told Page Six they have been reviewing and vetting fresh claims about sexual misconduct from another half dozen complainants with similar stories as the original trio. Lawyer Ron Zambrano said his firm has been examining claims from other dancers who worked with Lizzo on her Amazon Studio reality Lizzo Watch Out for the Big Girls. Y'all, that is still on Amazon. They have not taken it off. They said they finna get their money while this is hot. Because I watched it when it came out. I don't remember it. But in episode 1, as soon as you get into episode 1, you see one of the claimants. There, that's the first person that they highlight. So he said that's the first person that they show her audition. He said in a statement that Lizzo's original 3 accusers have bravely spoken out and shared their experience, opening the doors for others to feel empowered to do the same. The lawyer told Page Six the new allegations of a sexually charged environment and failure to pay employees. Oh, she wasn't paying them either. Some of the claims are reviewing may be actionable, but it's too soon to say, he stated. Among the allegations against Lizzo from her former dancers is this: the singer pressured them to engage with naked performers on the Amsterdam club, pushed them into eating bananas sticking from sex working vaginas in the night spot. Yeah, okay. So that's pretty much like everybody's dropping Lizzo. Well, not everybody. Jay-Z didn't drop her. Beyonce didn't drop out the song. Jay-Z didn't drop the from his music festival, and they saying now she not in the line to perform the Super Bowl. Then 6 more accusers have came out. So how do y'all think that's gonna go? Do you think they're gonna win the lawsuit? Do you think Lizzo's gonna end up settling because it's coming so big? But then settling, I don't know. Settling is almost like admitting guilt. So I don't know if it's going to be best to settle, even though it may be like more cost efficient. Because initially, I want to say the lawsuit was only for $75K, and I'm saying on like I don't got no $75K. I'm saying only as far as Lizzo pocket, not my pocket, because I'm broke. Okay, I ain't get it. So I'm saying it was only $75K, which I pretty much believe she'll spend more money on lawyers fighting it than she would with the lawsuit. But if you settle the lawsuit, it may go against, it may work against you, because then people will be like, oh, you guilty, and it may create more criticism, more of a public outrage, and her being dropped for more things than going through it, paying more money if you can prove that, the lawsuit is just, frivolous, made up, or, old employees being mad at you. Now, that's it for the Lizzo thing. I need some more doggone water. Okay, again, don't forget to. I'm already 22 minutes in. If I start the 6 gender topic, it's gonna take. Yeah. Okay, but I was I was gonna talk about this right when it came out with the Just Hilarious Tasha K, T.S. Madison situation, but I felt like it had been ran through, and I said I'm probably gonna get canceled before I get started, from my opinion for this. But I said, you know what? I'm still saying things about it. People are still making videos about this subject and topic. So I said, you know what? I might as well talk about it. If I'm not here to give my opinion, what am I here to do, right? So here you go, y'all. We're gonna see if this gonna be my last video. Because I am, I do not go by the term cisgender. I am a woman, biological woman who identifies as a woman. I told y'all I'm married, got my 4 girls, got my husband. So typically when women like us speak, it been seems to be that either label transfer with homophobic, and the people comes down on your neck. Do you hear me? But I said, hey, it's my channel about me talking my opinion, and I'll be a hypocrite if I don't come on here and actually say my opinion about the term cisgender. Want to hear it? Here it go. What is that from? I don't know. I always have movies and stuff going in my head. So first, and I got it all written down, so hopefully I won't be jumping. I can stay on track with y'all this time, okay? So first, we must start with cisgender and cisgender. which is not the same thing. I mean, when people say cis and when they say cisgender, that's two completely different things. Okay, cis, S-I-S, is short for sister. That's when somebody holler you sis. Hey sis, hey, hey sis, how you doing? This my sis. That is not the same as cisgender. Sis is S-I-S. S-I-S is sis, hey sis. And when they say cisgender, that's C-I-S. So anytime you start off and you mistake the two, people automatically assume everything you say after that is incorrect and you're undereducated. So let me go ahead and put that out there. I know that's two different things, and I'm talking about cisgender. I believe that the initial problem with the Jess and Bella is people misunderstanding Bella starting an argument. Now, Bella is the transgender woman who went on who said cisgender women does not control periods in womanhood. Jess Hilarious went and responded to that. Tasha K took Jess Hilarious side. T.S. Madison ended up hopping in. Tasha K and T.S. Madison still going to each other at this day. Tasha K, you know how Tasha K, if y'all watch Tasha K, that's the one who was sued by Cardi B, big old YouTuber, got a million followers. Now, Tasha K went and she got a backup channel, which is called the Wino Podcast. Her prominent channel is Unwind with Tasha K. Then she got the backup channel, which is Wino, the Wino Gang. The Wino Gang. That's her backup channel. So when I got a notification that she went live, I checked it I think she only was like on there for 5 more minutes. And when I tell you she deleted that so quick, I tried to go back and watch it while she was still live, baby. It cut off everything. I said she didn't delete it because that's what the Wino Gang, her YouTube page called the Wino Gang. It's technically, she called it her backup channel. She go on there and she'll rant and say some things and then she'll delete it. So you're going to have to stream record anytime you watch the Wino Gang. But at the end of that video, whatever she was talking about, I know she ended up saying, oh, me, T.S. Madison talk. We swatched it. And she started calling T.S. Madison Timothy. That's what ended up happening, y'all. That's this week. It was a whole back and forth. I'm quite sure there's plenty of videos on YouTube that y'all could go watch it. I couldn't keep up. I'm not into any YouTube beefs. I don't have any YouTube beefs. I'm new. I don't got enough subscribers for YouTube beef. I don't want YouTube beef. I don't like the docking. I got kids. I stay out of it. Okay. So there's people got all these videos where you could go and follow it. Just put in Tasha K versus T.S. Madison. It'll pop up, y'all. But that's the update for this week. So then she did that. T.S. Madison went on her page. I think she went on Twitter and put out a tweet about Tasha K. And everybody's like, where's this coming from? Because they didn't see that video that Tasha K but deleted. She's good at doing that. But I guess they're going back and forth again, y'all. So the initial, now this whole big thing started was a girl named Bella she was a TikToker, and they released a clip of it. Somebody just clipped. It was just a clip of her. They're saying it's an entire video, but it was just a clip, and she was saying that cisgender women don't control womanhood. So then she said the audacity of cis women to believe they own periods and womanhood, and you don't. Y'all experience them both, but y'all can't gatekeep. So I believe Jess responded as if Bella said biological women, because the facts are biological women do own periods. When Jess Hilarious responded, she didn't, from my point of view, she didn't respond like the lady said cisgender. She responded like she said biological women, because cisgender, I know y'all not going to like this, but I understand what biological Black women are saying, because they are feeling under attack from what I've seen mostly by gay Black men and Black trans women. So I don't feel like Jess responded according to what Bella said, but I have seen a lot of YouTube where the women are saying that biological women are saying we do not like that term, and it seems like they are getting attacked for saying that or called transphobic or anything. So I said, Jess starts off by saying, what the fuck going? No, just start off by saying who the fuck's going to protect real women, biological women. And here starts the problem, because women feel like, again, we are under attack from from the red pill men's, from the manosphere, from like people like Fresh and Fit, from DJ Academics, which is why people like Cynthia G, if you know who she is, she's gaining popularity because some women are like, damn, enough is enough, right? We are being called fish, which became a big issue. If you remember before cisgender, it was a big issue with pretty much gay men calling women fish. So it became a big issue that again, this was mostly black gay women versus gay men, particularly black gay men. We have the you have the bonus hole, biological women saying they have bonus hole. That was a UK thing. I know that wasn't here, but it was something that was being floated around to start calling your vajayjay when the doctors medical vajayjay to start calling it a bonus hole, which was ridiculous. You have people now calling biological women chest feeders or breeders. We are all those names, including bitches and hoes. And now it's like we can't have the term women, but we have to be cisgender. Now, speaking of DJ academics, see now this I wrote right when this stuff came out. So I'm gonna go through it. But y'all seen this week DJ academics then disrespect the Erica Badu, right? And Erica Badu came right back. He didn't disrespect her because 5 years ago she told him he looked like whichever one is the mouse on Tom and Jerry, the old school one, y'all, not the recent one. And they showed pictures side by side, and he did. He looked just like her. So now 5 years later, he want to come and talk about Erica Badu and how she's been ran through and rappers and things of that nature. Erica Badu went back and was like, yeah, y'all, I'm selling these incense and it's called pussy. So my pussy smell real good. And from what I heard, she sold out. So I'm like, joke's on you. She made money off you bringing her back up. But let me go back. So speaking of DJ Academics, he said, I had no idea that Jess was a woman. He was talking about Jess Hilarious. He said, I had no idea that Jess was a woman. I thought she was a trans this whole time. Which in turns mean he don't think trans women are women. But yet everyone is on Jess' neck and letting it slide. He just thought he was funny or being offensive by calling her trans, which tell you how he thinks about trans people. Yet crickets. Ain't nobody saying nothing about that. Now, is black men and black trans women defense that didn't come up with these terms? So I didn't hear black men, black trans women say that they didn't come up with these terms. And which I agree with. Everything thing except fish. They may have came, as far as I know, they may have came up with the term fish, which they didn't mean as offensive, but it is offensive because ain't nothing good about fish. They usually throw it out as an insult initially. Now I'm not talking about the gay black men. I'm talking about initially, the first thing you want to say about a woman when you want her, bitch, that's why you stink. It smell like fish. That's not the way they was using it, but that was a thing. Now these terms they said was typically made by European. But back to what Jess said, which is who's going to protect biological women? Women who are born with all the parts. Y'all wish y'all were. To me, this part is problematic. When Jess said that part, it's problematic because now it's putting two women, the biological and the trans, against each other. Now it's a competition. Now to invalidate what she said, it will be girls. Don't nobody now to invalidate what she said. When you say that, it'll be girl. Don't nobody want your uterus. Uterus don't determine womanhood. So women born without one is not a woman, and all these other bags of worms that she opened up when she said that. Now she stated y'all are delusional. What's the difference between you and someone diagnosed as mentally insane? Now this is a whole nother bag of worms because she is saying this because of the trans mindset. They feel they were born in the wrong body, and people compare it to, oh, what if I believe I was the dog? Now I could go shit on your lawn. That type of nonsense. So they call them insane or delusional. Or she's saying she's delusional because Jess responded to her saying biological women can't be gatekeepers, a period. But we are the only one who get period. So how can anyone else gatekeep what you don't experience? Now, yes, I know she said cisgender. But again, Jess responding as if she said biological women. Now, biological women experience periods that includes trans men because they are biological women. And I think this was the whole thing Bella was trying to say. Now, since cis women does not include biological women. It is biological women that identifies. Now cisgender doesn't include now, okay, so biological women experience periods. That includes trans men because trans men are biological women. Now, cis women doesn't include all biological women. It's biological women that identifies as a biological woman who identifies as a biological woman. So it would not include trans men is what Bella was trying to say. That you don't control periods because cisgender women don't control periods because cisgender does not include trans men, and trans men has periods. Now she says she would make y'all, if correct, I don't care what you identify as, only biological women eggs, only with biological men sperm can create humans. Now she says we make y'all. This is just hilarious. Now I have to remind myself what I had wrote. Tell you, this is weeks ago. This stuff is still going on. I wrote this weeks ago. Now she said we make y'all. My lips getting dry. It is because I've been talking too doggone much. Oh, and I never did put that in the chat. But there you go. Still it's to go through, y'all. But if y'all want to jump on, there it is. Now, she says we make y'all. This is what Jess Hilarious is saying to that trans Bella, the trans woman. So she was saying we make y'all, which is correct. I don't care what you identify as. Only biological women with eggs and biological men with sperm can create a human. Now, only women can carry them, so thus we make everybody. So now, since I brought up the term cisgender women, let's be clear. I do not identify or strive to the term cis women. I identify as a natural woman, as a biological woman, even though I may wear my extensions, y'all. But everything else is like Lady Gaga, baby, I was born this way. Okay. Now, cisgender is a term used to describe a person whose gender identity corresponds to their sex assigned at birth. The word cisgender is the opposite of transgender. The prefix cis is Latin and means on the side of. The trans means opposite. The term cisgender was coined in 1994 and was entered into dictionaries starting in 2015 as a result of changes in social disclosure about gender. Okay. Now, the prefix cis has existed, but the term cisgender has not. Cis was used in chemistry to describe a type of bond and biology to describe atoms. Marcus Bay stated that proto-cisgender disclosure arose in Germany in 1914 when Ernest Burchard introduced the cis-trans distinction to sexology by contrasting cisvectomy, or a type of inclination to wear conforming clothes, with transvestectomy. Y'all, transvestite, so transvestectomy. I'm probably mispronouncing these words, but pretty much it was cis is when you wear the clothes of your gender. I'm a female, I dress like a female. Trans was cross-dressing. So stated in 1999, German sexology Vollmer stated in 1998 that he coined the term cissexual in his two-part 1991 article, Die Transsexual. Is in German. I ain't finna even try that. It translates to transsexuals in our nosomorphic view. So Ernest Burchard was a German German physician, sexologist, and a gay rights advocate and author. Burchard was gay. He was a gay man. He testified as an expert witness in several court cases involving prosecution which criminalized homosexual practices. The term cisgender itself was coined and this was in Germany. Now, in the U.S., in English, it was coined in 1994 in a news group about transgender topics as Dana B. Foss, then a graduate student, sought a way to refer to non-transgender people that avoided marginalizing transgender people. Now, then when I did more research, and I'm just gonna come up later, Dana was a trans woman, so he created this term. So to me, here lies the problem that a lot of biological women have. The term in the U.S. was made to not marginalize transgender or implying that transgender people were on corresponding some transgender. The term was made to not marginalize transgender people. Some trans activists argue that using terms such as men or women to mean cis men or cis women reinforms cis normality, and that instead using the prefix cis similarity to trans would counteract the cis normative connotations within languages. So it's like you're marginalizing trans people by using the term trans. So we're gonna add cis to men and women, so marginalize um, it won't marginalize trans people. So this cis normality is the assumption that everyone is or ought to be cisgender. So they keep saying cis normality. That's just mean that they feel like everybody should act as if the within the gender that they was born. If you was a woman, you should live as a woman. If you was a man, you should live as a man, and that's normal. So the trans feminist Julia Sonara writes in Whipping Girls that cis sexual assumptions occurs when a cis sexual makes the common mistake assumption that the way they experience their physical and subconscious sexes applies to everyone else in the world. She argues that cisgender people indiscriminately project their experience of gender identity onto all others, transforming cis sexuality into a human attribute that is taken for granted. So because you don't want, so then this is my opinion. So because you don't want trans in front of man or woman or prefix in front of man or woman makes you feel away, then you have to add the prefix to ours, just men, women. So now we're adding prefixes to men or women, biological men and women. If you don't want to marginalize one group of people, so then now you're marginalize another group of people. Because the problem was we're finna add cis because trans people feel marginalized by saying trans. So then now you're trying to add cis and you're making biological people feel marginalized. So to me, that's a big issue. That becomes a big issue. I said, what is marginalized? Marginalized is to relegate to an unimportant or powerless position within a society or a group. What is relegate? Is to assign a place of insignificant or a bit of villain, but out of sight. So it's pretty much out of sight, out of mind. So what this translates into is the term cisgender was coined in order to avoid trans people for feeling insignificant. All I heard all week is that the cisgender is a medical term made to distinguish between biological men or woman living as a man, woman, and a trans. That's what I was hearing all that week. It's just a term made to distinguish between a man or a woman, a biological man and woman versus a trans man and woman. It's a term made, but it's actually a term to protect trans people's feelings. It had nothing to do with the medical uses. Now, biological women are saying, well, what about our feelings? So there was already a term to differ between trans and biological women, and that was trans. And women were saying, where they say natural or biological. You knew that a person that transitioned into womanhood versus a biological woman. It doesn't seem like, hey Neil, It doesn't seem like, and I forgot to answer your email, but I said, let me go ahead and get this out before you do yours so I can go ahead and if you decide to take on the topic. So it doesn't seem like it's the trans who wants this to change. And I'm not sure the necessity unless it get rid of biological women being able to refer to themselves as biological women. Because right now when someone say, are you a woman or are you trans? The woman is in both statements. So let me see. And I was trying to, like I said, I have to reintroduce myself. Medical academics use the term and have recognized it's important in the transgender studies since. So I'm going to tell you the academic use for the term. So the medical academics use the term and have recognized it's important in the transgender studies since the 1990s. After the term cisgender and cisexual was used in a 2006 article in the Journal of Lesbian Study, Scenario 2007 book Whipping Girl, and the former gained further popularity among English-speaking activists and scholars. Cisgender was added to the Oxford Dictionary in 2015. Defined as designating a person whose sense of personal identity corresponds to the sex and gender assigned to him or her at birth. Now, the definition, sociologist Christian Schunt and Laura Westbrook defines cisgender as a label for individuals. I know I had already said this, y'all, but I'm just going back through my notes. It defines as a label assigned to people who match between the gender, right? As a label for individuals who have a match between the gender they were assigned at birth, their bodies, and their personal identities. A number of deviations of the term cisgender and cisexual include cis male for males assigned male at birth and cis female for females assigned female at birth. So cis men, and it's also cis men, cis women. It's called cis normality or heteronormativity. Cis normativity, heteronormativity. Green word in 2016. Six genders is used instead of the most popular gender normality to refer to people who do not identify with a gender, diverse experience without enforcing existence of normativity gender expression. Julia defines cissexual as people who have not transsexuals and people who not transsexuals and have only ever experienced their mental and physical sexes as being aligned, while cisgender is a slightly narrow term for those who do not identify as transgender. They said Jessica Caldwaller, cissexual is a way of drawing attention to the unmarked norm against what trans is identified, in which a person feels like their gender identifies matches their body. Serena also uses the related term cissexualism, which is the belief that transsexuals identified genders are inferior to or less authentic than cissexuals. The term cisgender privilege appeared in academics literature defined as a set of earned advantages that individual who identify as the gender they was assigned at birth accrue solely due to having a cisgender identity. So I'm just going through the history of the word, y'all. From feminism and gender studies. Krista Scott Dixon word in 2009 that she preferred the term non-trans. So this article also goes into why there's such a problem with the term. So from feminists and gender studies, Chris Scott Dixon wrote in 2009 that she prefers the term non-trans to other options such as cisexual or cisgender, saying non-trans is clearer to an average person, which I absolutely agree. Like I said earlier, I prefer to talk woman or man because they said a lot of people say this is just a term to distinguish between a trans person and a biological born person. In my opinion, that's the trans in front of the word. So when you say trans woman, trans man, that automatically distinguish. But the women in gender studies scholar, many Manunuki, baby, I be messing up people's name, writes that some consider the cisgender, transgender, binary distinction to be as dangerous or self defeating as the masculine, feminine gender binary because it lumps people who identify as lesbian, gay, or bisexual together, oversimplifying, oversimplifying in her view, with a heteronormative class of people in opposition with transgender people. She says that characterizing LGBT individuals together with heterosexual non-trans people may problematically suggest that LGBT individuals, unlike transgender individuals, experience no mismatch between their own gender identity and gender expression and cultural expectation and regarding gender identity and expression. So she pretty much saying that using the term also sets the LGBT community aside from the transgender people, which could be problematic. So gender studies professor Chris Freeman criticized the term, describing it as clunky, unhelpful, and maybe even regressive, and says it creates or recreates a gender binary. Now, this is from the intersex organization. So, intersex and endosex. So, intersex people are born with a typical physical sex characteristics that could complicate initial sex assignment and lead to involuntary medical treatment. The term cisgender can get confusing in relationship to people with intersex condition, although some intersex people use the term according to the Interact Advocates for Intersex Youth. Those are not my words, y'all. Those are theirs. So Hilda Valora of the Intersex Campaign for Equality notes that as a person born with an intersex body who has a non binary sense of gender identity that matches their body, they are both cisgender and gender nonconforming, presumably opposites, according to cisgender definition. And that this evidence that the term based on a binary sex model that does not account for intersex people. Gloria also critiques the fact that the term sex assigned at birth is used and is one of cisgender definition, without noting that babies are assigned male or female regardless of intersex status in most of the world, stating that doing so the birth of intersex babies inframes gender identity within a binary male female sex model that fails to account for both the existence of gender non-confirming gender identities and gender-based discrimination against intersex people based on natal sex characteristics rather than on gender identity or expression. So that was pretty much an intersex person saying the term does not work for intersex people because it's about people, because the term cisgender is for people who were born male or female and live their life as male or female, and it does not fit for intersex people because they're born both. That's what all that terms sums into. Now, whoo, that was a lot. Now, after all that, hold your breath, because get ready to cuss me out, because here's my opinion. I feel like biological women should be able to feel like they don't want to be called cisgender without people calling them homophobic or transphobic. What I have seen is attack on Black women who stand up and say they don't like that term. And it seems to be turmoil within the Black community, gay Black men, and Black trans women. I don't understand because it seems to me that Black women are the biggest supporter of trans and gay men, wherever especially Blacks. Now, this is just my personal life. I know it's not worldwide. So, but it seems Black women seems to be the biggest supporter. It's them being our best friend, employing as stylists, makeup artists, dancers. I don't think you can find a Black superstar from Tina Turner to Janet Jackson, Whitney Houston, Beyonce, the Barbs, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, on down, who didn't employ gay Black men and also who didn't benefit from the support of gay Black men. Like I said, to me, it's a give and take. We both here. So um, they employ them and they also benefit from gay Black men, especially reality star like Needy Leaks, the Real Housewives series, even talk show hosts like Wendy, where gay Black men, especially gay Black, is where gay men, especially gay Black men, are large portions of their fan base. So What's the divide? Since this Jess and Tasha K versus T.S. Madison and Bella, I have seen a plethora of gay men, gay black men, and black women tear into black women that have a opposing view. It's usually an attack on a woman that like an attack on her appearance, on her makeup, on her clothes, etc., and her education or lack thereof. Now, attacking her appearance is crazy to me because you are standing up for trans women who one of the big thing is not judging them on appearance. But the first thing that I have seen, in my personal experience, the first thing you do to combat a biological woman is attack her appearance. It seems like the gay men attack how she looked. They breed her for filth, baby, from her head to her shoes. And the trans women attack how she looked. And biological women are mad because trans women, and the trans women say, oh, they attack how she look and say you just mad because trans women look better than y'all and we can steal y'all men. I didn't see a lot of that go on. Now, I didn't heard gay and trans people say that you would think biological women, men would be happy because the word was made to distinguish biological people from trans people. And it's a way of saying I'm not trans. But I'm sorry, but I just feel like that's false. There was already a way to distinguish biological women and men from trans by saying trans. Once you put trans in front of woman or man, then you know that person was not biologically what they're presenting as. The word was created so trans people would not feel marginalized. It had nothing to do with heterosexual people, or it had nothing to do with the comfort of heterosexual people. It's like I've seen a lot of people like, oh, it's just to distinguish so y'all could be distinguished from trans so it won't be confused, but it really had nothing to do with heterosexual people. It was created so trans people wouldn't feel marginalized. Because if this is about us and we are saying, hey, Neil, if you're ready to join on, I'll go ahead and add you.
All right, pieces. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
My AC ain't too noisy.
No, don't even worry. I didn't have clothes and everything. Washing going on. Didn't have to come back. It's all good.
Yeah, just coming in and just show you some love. And yeah, hopefully I can get to this subject tonight. You know, I don't have to reschedule my show like 4 times.
I know. I see you kept scheduling, and then I'd be like, okay, she ain't do it.
Yeah, it's just because stuff kept coming up, and then other stories, you know, and then the whole me, you know. I hope you seen my Etsy video about that drama I was in, you know, with the conscious community over there. So I did a video.
I didn't see the other one. I think you posted another one past the last one I seen. So I didn't see the last one you just put out.
Yeah, the one that is called the one that's called the Death Game, of Sonetta playing chess with Sonetta's a Death Game. Like I did that video because I had to reschedule this video that I'm actually gonna try to do tonight. Okay. So after, hopefully the interview I got today at 6 with the young lady who wants to expose Polite. Right after her video, I'm going right into this subject, sis. And I hope I don't get canceled like you to say you might get canceled. Because, like, even though I'm a lesbian woman and you're a heterosexual woman, we agree on more than we disagree on this topic. And it's kind of sad because I was called transphobic, sis, for saying the same talking points you just did today on your show.
Yeah, because when I emailed you, it was with the Conscious TV when you and that what was it, Jules, maybe, you know, it was after that back and forth. But I said when I went back and watched it, I said y'all actually was agreeing. You just end up catching strays because she was into it with the other one. And
well, that's what I was trying to clear up. I was trying to clear that up with I talked to Reckless after that show because I was telling him that because I couldn't see the names, I could never know who I was talking to. But I told him whoever that Jewel lady is definitely came for me. You get what I'm saying? Like, because I believe Jewel was the one who was saying it doesn't matter what the scientists say or what the medical. So
that was her.
But then she started.
She was already arguing with the whole panel. Not even arguing. It's just that she was a biological heterosexual woman, and it seemed like everybody was coming for her. And whether it was about her education, they said they felt like she had some type of hidden agenda, but they one lady was pretty much talking down to her, pretty much calling her uneducated. It was talking very like snooty to her.
Oh, so she was already on the defense mode
And
before
she
I
was
even clicked
already
in.
2 hours in on defense. And all she was
Oh,
saying is
okay.
that as a cisgender woman, I don't want to be called cisgender. I'm a biological woman. And if trans women say respect me because I don't, I don't want to be called a man, I want to be called a woman. If I'm respecting that, all it boils down to is respect. So then they tried to,
Right.
a lot of people was coming at her about her being uneducated. Well, this is the medical term. This is the medical definition. And all it is, and she was like, I don't care about any of that. All I'm talking about is respect. You know what I'm saying? So then they
Oh,
began to
okay.
kind of speak condescending to her and things of that nature. So it was 2 hours of that before you get there. So that's why when you get there and you was talking more on the education side, y'all was both saying the same thing. It's just that she end up including you in something that she just meant for the other lady. She just
Okay. Thank
used
you
your
for
word.
clearing that up.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now that makes I totally understand now because I was trying to get it cleared through Reckless, but Reckless was more saying that she was he just felt like she was there to just be disagreeable and disruptive and stuff like that. Like the way after I spoke to him, because I asked him, I said, what was the point of her coming for me? I understand trans women coming for me, but I told him it seemed like I got more flack from the biological woman than the trans woman. And then I'm sitting up
Mhm.
here telling them that I'm in agreement with majority of women or biological women who say that if they feel like if they find that word offensive as a collective, we shouldn't use it, regardless if it's a medical term, scientific term. Even though I'm
Yeah.
still a little iffy about medical, like to me, it doesn't sound like it's a medical term. It seems like to me, it's a social construct somebody
Yeah.
in
And when you
psychology came
actually
up
look
with.
it up, that's what I was just going through the history. That's what took me so long. But the history of it, no, it was not. It was created by a sexologist, and when it was used in the U.S., that was actually used by a trans woman, but it was not created for. It was created to not marginalize trans people. So,
Okay.
like to me that people say it's created to be a medical term. To me, that's not created to be a medical
No,
term.
it's, yeah, to me, it doesn't sound like it was because when I kept trying to do the research on it, I could not. And the only link I found between that word was the what's the lady name started with D?
Yeah,
You
and
just
come to find out she's a transgender woman, the one who
yeah,
coined the
her
term. She's a trans.
right, right. So that and then the other person who got it's another guy. He's in that. I forgot the name of that organization that's for pedophilia. Oh, what's his name?
The
It's
German
a
one.
No, it's one of the guys who have something to do with that word. I'm gonna try to bring it out tonight on my notes if I can
Mhm.
remember to get to it. But there's another word where there that link to a guy who's in the organization that's for them pedos, the ones who
See, we
feel
got
like
Marcus Bay. You talking about Marquise, not Marcus. We got
I gotta I
Marquise.
gotta look it up, sis, because I got so
Okay.
much stuff, and when it come down to names, I just be.
Yeah. That's,
But
well, I tell you, this is 38 pages of notes.
look, see, so you can imagine what I get
Just trying to
trying to
dig
keep.
and get to the bottom and why people so upset. This seems like most people are upset with biological women, and I'm like, I don't get what's the big
I
thing.
do. I'm in agreements with you that I be talking to my brothers and sisters, and I was like, look, I'm under this umbrella with you with force to sexual preference, but we don't always have to be in agreements on
Yeah,
stuff. And this is one that I love. Like I told them trans women, I'll be your ally. I stick beside
yeah,
you and all that. But now when it comes down to you being bullies, though, I can't be on y'all side when y'all are turning into bullies because I felt like just like you said on your show tonight we don't need to a word cisgender. It's not even needed because
mm-hmm,
trans women go under the umbrella of womanhood, and
mm-hmm,
above womanhood is the word woman. So when
mm-hmm.
you say trans woman, you know that
You
that is
automatically know.
a person who's transitioning to a
Yeah,
woman. And when you say woman, you know that's a biological woman.
right. Yeah,
Like you don't need, we
yeah.
really don't need the word, but when I do have those discussions with trans people and the people in the gay community, they was trying to say it's to help put it on an equal level. Like you don't want to be
So they
confused
have
what
a
type of
presex,
woman.
so they won't. biological people to have a preface, pretty much.
Well, that's what I'm trying to. That's the where I'm in disagreement is because I kept saying they're not on the same spectrum. You get what I'm saying? Like
Uh-huh.
that's what they were saying, that you don't want people going around there be confused of what type of woman. And I was like, they won't be confused. If you say woman, that's a biological woman. If you say trans woman, that's a man who transitioned into a woman.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
But they
And
was
what's
even
the
saying like,
argument?
yeah,
I'm still
like they was
confused.
saying because
What's
I
the
heard
argument?
Reckless. I'm sorry, I don't know if there's a delay, sis. Reckless had brought that point up, and me and him was talking about it. Like he was saying that they don't want confusion of what type of woman on the
Mhm.
different women. So if somebody come up and be like, hey, she's a beautiful woman, okay, what type of woman she is? Oh, she's a cis woman. So okay. Oh no, she's a trans. I be like, you don't really need the word because the WO, because everybody knows basic for the anonym that's the word I'm looking. What's the word I'm looking for? So help me out. I'm doing a million things. The
The
basic
anatomy.
function. No, the basic function of the word woman, the root WO represent womb.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So I was telling them that that's why the word like man, a woman is a form of a man, MAN, but they put the WO to let you know it's a man with a womb.
Right.
Right. So that's why I was trying to tell them, even if they want to play these games and trans women or, or trans women are women. Okay, well, you're not a woman if you're not biologically born with the the
Mhm.
XX chromosome or with the womb.
Mhm.
Right, your biological makeup. So I don't understand why do they feel like they have to eliminate the basic terms of a female anatomy. You hear what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Like, cause
Yeah.
somebody was like, "Oh, it's just a vagina. You got a vagina with a hole." Like I heard these trans people say some
Mhm.
disrespectful stuff towards women
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
point that they act like, "Oh, you bleed a couple of months. Oh, no big deal." And I was like, "Yeah, but some of the women can bleed so much that they can die
Yeah.
if they don't get surgery or whatever."
Yeah.
Like it's more to it than that
Yeah.
goes under the umbrella of womanhood than putting on makeup, nails, and getting a boob job. You
Mhm.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I get into it like with them all the time because I'm even gonna talk about on my show tonight. So it's not trying to hold your show up, but I'm
Uh-huh.
even gonna bring up the story about how I was sexually harassed by
Uh-huh.
a trans woman.
Mhm.
They don't
Mhm.
want to talk about that too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's like it's just really crazy. I'm still trying to figure it out. Like I said, I try to be allies on both ends, but sometimes I feel
Yeah.
like they do wind up saying some ridiculous things. Like
Mhm.
especially when I played a video of a trans woman wanting to go to a gynecologist and was upset because they wouldn't perform a pap smear on the
That
trans
had to be a
person.
joke.
No, it's a story. Like they was upset because the gynecologist would not perform a pap smear, and even though this person was post-op, they was trying to tell them that they don't specialize in that field. Like they
Okay.
wouldn't even know how to treat. Like we're going to be
Right.
swiping your,
Right. Right. Right.
because it becomes a wound. Like that's another thing
Right.
that trans people don't want to admit. When they have that surgery, yes, they can shape it to look like a vagina, but your body responds to it as an open wound. They have to put stuff up there to keep
Yeah,
their
I heard
vagina
somebody say that.
open. But it does, because they don't talk about the complications of what go along with it. I be feeling sorry for a lot of them trans people, trans women, because they go through so much shit.
Yeah.
They get infections all the time. They sick all the time because the body stay steadily in that inflammation phase where it's trying to heal a
Okay.
wound.
Okay.
Right. So, but I remember, like, I'm literally gonna play a video of a man getting upset because he couldn't get a pap smear and was mad and wanted the people to rally together and coming against the gynecologist and his crew. And I felt like the gynecologist was being honest with the trans person, like, how am I supposed to treat you?
Mhm.
Like, I specialize in vaginas, womb. You don't have one. You know what I'm saying? You have a plastic surgery to shape your sexual organs into a vagina. But if I swipe, what do you want me to tell you? Like, if
Yeah.
you're not at risk for ovarian cancer, you don't have a cervix. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was basic things like he was trying to explain to the trans person.
Right.
I can't treat you because you don't have that anatomy. So
Right.
that you see how
Right.
far some of them are going, sis?
Right. Right. And I just feel like to me, I see especially black women, whether they in the community or not. It seems like Black women is like the always have the handout. You know, it's always like a friendship. But like I said, I'm not in it, so I wouldn't know. So people may have different experience. But you know, I know 2 trans women, 1 trans man. But it seems that Black women are accepting. It's just that we at the point now, like, hey, okay, but don't come for us. And even if we express our opinion, it's just an opinion. Now, is there transphobia out there? Yes, of course. There's the transphobia, there's homophobia. Of course, that stuff is out there. Of course, it exists. But just because you don't like the term, it seems a lot of people are now trying to make that, oh, well, now you're transphobic. No, I just don't like the term.
Yeah, because I told him I just don't like the term because over time, just like I brought this up on the show on Conscious TV, over time, the human construct, we're naturally going to label stuff with groups, right? First, they used to call us what? Niggers, Negroes. Even though if you look up the word nigger, Niger, it's in the dictionary and it just means black, right?
Mhm.
But you know, they was using that word to oppress African people. So then we went from nigger to Negro to colored. That was still somewhat offensive, you know what I'm saying? So now people, African American, Black, like people, the words constructs are going to continually change until we finally reach a word that people won't find offensive. And that's what I was trying to explain to the people on Reckless Channel. Like, if more women are finding this word offensive, then we should not use it. But then they get upset, was like, oh, well, y'all don't want to use it because you think it's coming from gay people and that's why you find it offensive. And we were like, no, not necessarily, because even though I'm not really offended by it like that, because I'm not that sensitive, but it could because I am a woman that, you know, who appears masculine. So that could be a reason why I'm not like because people call me a whole bunch of shit. They call me stud and dykes and all that, whatever. But I said, I feel like if the women, biological women, do not want to be identified as cisgender, then they have the right to, just like you being a trans person. If you don't want somebody to call you off your body's anatomy, if they're willing to respect you and identify how you want to be called, you should respect biological women who's telling you what they want to be called and what they don't want to be called. You are biologically born a man, but you don't want me to call you a man. And that is a scientific medical term, right?
Right.
But you don't want me to call you that because you feel like a woman, whatever a woman feels like, you know? And I think that's one of the deepest philosophical questions that I ever asked a trans person. What does it feel like to be a woman? Because you say you feel like you are a woman. And I told them, when you transition, you do not transition into a woman like me. I identify as a woman based off of my anatomy, but I wear clothing that's assigned to men because of my that's what I'm comfortable in. But for as my personality, I don't act masculine. You know what I'm saying? So I asked them, what does that mean? Because womanhood come in all shapes and sizes. Some of us wear nails, some of us don't. Some of us wear our weave, some of us wear our braids. We express ourselves. There is no formula to be a woman. There's no one formula. We do every fucking thing, right? So every time trans people transition, they always transition, majority of them, to feminine gender expression of a woman.
Right.
The nails, the hair, the boobs, the BBLs, that's what they transition to. They don't look like me, you know? So I often ask them, like, what does that mean to feel like a woman? Because I'm telling you, being a woman, it's not a feeling. It's not a feeling.
It's a lot
so,
of
but it's a hard to get through men, because, you know, I keep telling them that it's kind of hard to get through biological men because, you know, I feel like they think a little different from women anyway. So it's kind of hard to get them to see where you're coming from.
I heard Funky say this, and I don't know. I wonder what you feel about it. I heard Funky say, because like I said, I feel like it's a problem with Black gay men and Black trans women against the biological women about this issue. And Funky said, Funky Dineva, he's like, what he noticed is that you trans men don't have this problem. And trans women do, because now this is his words. He said, because a trans woman at the end of the day was still born a man and have thoughts that you didn't thought like a man for years or whatever. Your brain is wired like a man, have those thinking, and it's like they could overcome a woman, so they're gonna force their way into the transition into the conversation and make it what they want to do. Whereas trans men are biological women and they know they can't overpower a biological man. And so he feel like that's part of the reason why the womanhood thing is such a big controversy against like them against us type of thing. And whereas not the same thing with trans men. That trans women are pretty much
I
like
totally
you said, like
I totally agree with that on a philosophical level, because we know that with the patriarchal system and the natural mindset of a man, they love to commit what's the word I'm looking for, conquer, right? That's the
yeah.
mentality they have. They love to command and conquer. They love to give orders. They like to push this power structure. So being that we used to being on a patriarchal system where women are usually oppressed, it does make sense that now you got men who say they feel like a woman and now want to dominate the womanhood. Tell us what a woman should be and what a woman ain't. And I'm literally telling them like, nah, I'm gonna have to disagree with y'all, because we all know, just using basic definition in the simplest way, the reason why we have the word man and the word woman is just to describe somebody's anatomy.
Right.
And that they want, and I be telling my gay people, like, be honest, y'all need to be honest about this. The word gender, when it first came out, it was to identify someone's sex.
Yeah. Male and female.
But 20 years ago, they changed it now to identify a social construct.
Right.
But that was not the case. So when you arguing with people who's 50, 60 years old, when you use the word gender, they're going to automatically go to the original definition of when that word was created, not the new trending word that came up 20 years ago. And I tried to, I even talked to Reckless about it, because that baby, he like, and I like to call him baby because he's just so young. He's 24.
Okay.
Right? He's 24 and the word was changed 20 years ago. So he was 4 years old when the word was changed.
So
and I was like,
been that way for his whole life.
Right. And then how old I was, 17. You get what I'm saying? When I learned, so that's what I was telling him, that he has to be a little bit more patient, and that you can't sit up here and label people homophobic, or we just want to be. And I was like, no, people want to use the word based off the original functionality of when they first originally learned the word.
Yeah,
so,
because
but I do feel
in that conversation with Reckless and the girl, I was just like, I thought she truly just genuinely wasn't picking up. Now Reckless said he felt like she was on a whole nother genuine.
Yeah. Hey sis, I'm gonna go on mute for 30 seconds, but I can still hear you. Okay.
You said what?
I'm gonna go on mute for 30 seconds, but I can still hear you. Okay.
Go ahead. Right. But listening to the conversation, it seemed like Jules was I wouldn't say I wouldn't talk about her education level, but it seemed like she was truly, genuinely she didn't understand why they didn't understand her. That she was thought, I understand y'all points, but y'all talking about education and all that. All I'm saying is that I'm gonna respect you as a woman. When you, even though you born male, you transition, I'm still finna respect you as a woman. All I'm saying is that respect what I want. So don't tell me about education, don't tell me about all that. And so it went on for hours before Neo even joined the conversation, when people then started to talk about, that she's not that bright, that you're not comprehending, that you're not. And it was about 2 hours of that before Neo came on. And then that's why she started saying, that's why she said, fuck the science and fuck philosophy. But that was pretty much to the lady who, I can't remember her name, but she was a nurse and was always talking about, like, in school and the medical books and medical this and books that's in about 2 hours in, she was just like, I don't care about none of that. And it just so happened you had just got there at that time. But what I said, I was going on the cisgender, the word of the cisgender. Now, cisgender, the word was, I'm hoping I'm gonna get to it, but it was not. And I like that when Neo bring up the term African American, well, the nigger, and colored, and blacks, and then African American, have the word has I won't even say transition, but change. Transition and change is the same, but have the word has changed from the meaning from the beginning, or people have used different terms, but they have used different words. And to me, it does relate to this conversation. They have used different words because we have found some of those words offensive.
Yeah.
And they was and the same thing with cisgender. Those terms was not created by Black people who the term was referring to. The term cisgender was not created by cisgender people who you are referring to. So you probably are going to have issues with it. You know, you didn't get
but
high
yeah.
about this. So I'm like, that's why I did like when you use that, because it's a good correlation between the two.
Yeah, because I literally showed them, okay, the word, somebody invented the word nigger, Niger, not Gger, but Nig.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go to the dictionary and look that word up. It simply means black. But the
Mm-hmm.
person who was trying to use the word against African people, they was using it as a form of oppression. And I feel like even though the cisgender, I mean, not the cisgender, the trans woman who made that up, I felt like that might be a way to, for them to oppress biological people because they've been oppressed throughout the system, right? So I felt like
Mm-hmm.
it's a low key shade or a clapback. Okay, let's give them a word, and then let's put the word cis, because you know that it sounds similar to the cis word, the SIS, when
Mm-hmm.
it's CIS, right? So I
Yes.
just felt like I was like, okay, y'all, let's be better than this. Just because they came up with words, don't mean we should come up with words for them. And then I said, and from my understanding, Flame and Rose said that back in the day when they used to have to fight for their rights and be treated as citizen, that they fought for the word trans woman. And now they want to change it. And he was like, that, well, reason why he's not arguing about it, and reason why he's not upset with the definition of word trans women, because that's what that's what his generation
Grew up
fought
on
to
it.
be called.
Right. Right.
So now the younger generation are saying like, no, we gonna get rid of that. We just gonna identify as woman as a woman. But if you
Mm-hmm.
must identify, we have a trans woman and we have a cis woman, because at the end of the day, they all women. But let's separate the two, to identify the two. And I'm like, well, you don't need the word cis.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you say trans woman, you already know
Yeah,
what this
it's
person is
automatically
transitioning to.
it's
You don't
included.
need the word, bro. But people are trying to use that word to offend biological women, and they need to be honest about that. And
And
one
to
of the
me, I'm just
craziest
like,
thing
I don't even know if it's to offend, because like the definition, it was created so trans women or trans men wouldn't feel marginalized. But if you're creating a word so they won't feel marginalized, you in turn are marginalizing the other group. Is what the
right.
other group is telling you. So I'm like,
But
to
like, let's
like
be
you
honest
said,
now. We know
it
how messy.
automatically implies that you transition. That's what the
But
trans in front of it means. It automatically implies. That's like asking for a hamburger and can you add meat? A hamburger is the meat. So I would need to say, give me a hamburger with meat. It's a hamburger. So that's what you already have it in front of the word. So that's why I was like,
mhm.
that's why I didn't really get why saying that is transphobic and why
Well,
not?
they call me transphobic because I said that trans women are not women. They're under the umbrella of womanhood. They got
Right,
upset with me when I
that's
said.
that's what she said. The transaction on that panel, she agreed with you.
I don't remember who did, because you remember when I said that I started getting cut off, and then I had to tell them to, show some decorum. I'm trying, because I really wanted to have this conversation with Sable, but I felt like Jewel just kept distracted, and then
Label.
some other,
That's her name.
and then some other female with a deeper voice, she came at me too. When I
Mm-hmm.
told her to stop interrupting when Sable was trying to have a conversation with another biological woman, and because she was trying to get a clear definition of what she was describing, the other girl felt like you should have just accepted Sable's answer. Because you
Mm-hmm.
remember Sable was a little defensive when we tried to ask her, what does it feel like? You remember she said something like, it was like none of our business.
Right.
You remember?
Right.
And I
Yeah.
was
Uh-huh.
like, no, sis, we trying to have a dialogue. I didn't ask you, who you sleep with in your bedroom. I didn't ask you how
Right.
much you make, like something that's none of your business. We trying to understand. So to help us understand you're saying you are just
Mm-hmm.
like these women. but then help us understand, because is it a mentality thing, or what is it? But I don't know if you caught that, and I really think it was a way to bridge the gap between biological women and trans women. I don't know if you heard what Sable said. She identified with the gender expression. Did you remember she then I said boom. So what's this whole argument about you a woman? That's not what you're identifying with. You're identifying with the expression of a woman.
Womanhood, yeah.
The feminine expression on top of that.
Yeah.
So I'm correct. I'm correct when I say y'all go under the umbrella of womanhood. That y'all are not women. Y'all under the umbrella of it.
Yeah. And so, I thought she eventually agreed with you.
And to a certain extent she did. That's why I can't wait till I do my video tonight when Flame Monroe talks to a trans woman. I think her name was Sade. And both of them, you know, Sade was even a beautiful person, right? But I like how they had that conversation, and I love how Flame Monroe said he feel like there's a way to bridge the gap between them. But then possible.
Again, that's another thing that it seems like if you like Flame Monroe and agree with it, the trans community is against Flame Monroe, and like she's the Candace Owens of the trans community. So then if you like Flame Monroe, you are already automatically grouped into transphobic because they say Flame is transphobic.
But the thing is, this is what I'm trying to get them to understand, a form of maturity, that people going to have disagreements. Some people think they like Cardi over Nicki, right? But at the end of the day, they both just female rappers, and you like them based off your biases and your preference of style of music, or if you find that person likable. I like Flame Monroe. I think he, she, or whatever he wants to call himself, or she want to call herself, is a great. Well, you know, he changed it up, because the last interview I saw on Breakfast Club, he said he was a drag queen. So, but anyway, let's just say she, since somebody said that's the latest. But Flame Monroe
she said she go by he, she, we.
Right.
So she don't care what you call her.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. It's Flame, right? But Flame is a well-known comedian. And I had to explain that to Reckless. I said, Reckless, you got to understand. I understand why you don't fuck with Flame. But I've been watching Flame since I was a child. Like the first time I told him, I was like, what, 10 years old watching Comic View. Flame was the first trans gay comic that I ever saw on TV.
Okay.
So that's why I was telling him that I can identify and separate the comedic from the political stuff. Even though a lot of the political things he say, regardless of what's going on with the trans and what's going on, what I like to call the civil war in the LGBTQ plus community, is that I side with him more because I'm more up in the age with him, right?
Right.
And then I also say I understand where he's coming from, and I understand where y'all coming from, because I'm a millennial. I'm in the middle too. I live both parts of the political argument, right? I've seen both sides. But I feel like the younger guys, like, as much as I love them, I call them my little babies, and I said, I got they back when they need me. But I tell them, y'all are turning into bullies.
Yeah, because there's no room for disagreement. They don't leave room for disagreement for other
people. You shouldn't cancel me because of who I like.
That's opposite of theirs. And then how are you going to ever teach the people who like me? I'm not in the lifestyle or anything. So questions that I may ask, it may be offensive, but how would I ever learn it's offensive if you're not trying to have an open conversation with me where I'm able to express myself and being told, no, that's not the way it's said. That's not, pronouns means there's without being automatically now counseled, now I'm labeled trans, a homo, transphobic, a homophobic, and things of this nature, when sometimes people are just seeking knowledge. Sometimes white people don't know you shouldn't touch black woman hair. Why?
Until you gotta tell them, because I remember I had to tell somebody, wait a minute. But yeah, I feel like it definitely is a teachable moment, an educational moment, but you shouldn't cancel me or dismiss me or have this dislike for me, because we have different opinions. We're human. That's why I love philosophy. That's why I'm always, because I tell people, I be challenging people, even when I agree with them. Sometimes I challenge them.
Yeah.
Hey, 1 second.
Okay. I'll go back into the let me go. The word was created so trans people would not feel marginalized. It had nothing to do with the biological or heterosexual person or their comfort, which I think is why it's causing such an uproar. Because if it was about us and we are saying we don't like it, we didn't create it. Mind you, it was created by gay men in Germany in 1914. The one who they said created it in 1914, he is a gay man. In the US by a trans woman. We had no input in it. So transgender was coined by psychiatrist John F. Olivan and popularized by transgender activist Lou Sullivan, who was a trans male. When reading stats on trans populations, I read that only 1% of the population is trans. And in order to understand it, I thought about it in terms of it's kind of like white people being called American, and everyone else have something in front of their name, like Native American should be called American, but everybody else has something in front of their name. But the Native Americans is the only ones who should really be called American. So I'm like, I didn't heard somebody try to put it into those terms to make it more understandable. But European Americans are the majority, and they're in control of the terms. Now, because heterosexuals are the majority, we control what terms I use and don't want something else in front of it like the whites. So that's the term I didn't heard a trans put it in front of to try to make it more understandable. My only pushback is that this was a transgender activist who popularized the term. Where cisgender we had nothing to do with. In the example, I replaced race with biological gender. So where I said Native American can be the only ones called American without anything in front. Then it would
I'm
go
sorry,
that
sis.
biological, no problem, that biological women and men would be the only thing that could be women and men with nothing in front since they are the original. So I've been hearing transphobia use people using transphobia a lot. So I want to do the definition. Transphobia consists of negative attitude, feelings, or action towards transgender people or transness in general. Transphobia can include fear, aversion, hatred, violence, or anger towards people who do not conform to social gender expectations. Now, a lot of women that just disagree with the term cisgender is being labeled transphobic, which I don't understand why. Just hilarious. I understood because she said the delusional and pretty much calling them mental patients. So I can understand that label. But just for women who disagree, I don't understand why they're being labeled transphobic. To me, they're saying they don't want the word from them from biological women. It has nothing to do with our trans sisters, but it's like, okay, it has nothing to do with trans sisters. I don't like the usage. I'm not transphobic or anything. It's just biological women saying we don't like the term. If a biological men are saying I feel females, they call me identify as a trans woman. If a biological born man is saying I feel like a female, respect that, call me that. I identify as a trans woman. And we saying cool sis, we respect you. But when we say I feel like as a woman, respect me as such and call me woman, not cis. And now we're told we're transphobic. Why not give women the same respect as trans women? So I said I think that was pretty much what I had on that. Mm-hmm. Because then the rest of it would go into the conscious TV conversation. So it was what Jules was saying. So the I think it ended up being 7-8 hours the
Yeah,
conversation. So
yeah, and I.
go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, I ain't mean to interrupt. I think it's a delay, sis. I don't be meaning to interrupt
Yeah,
you.
it is.
If it's okay, but go ahead. You can tell you. I think I just realized you were still talking.
I said Jules at the 3 hours. She did. I mean, this is 3 hours in, so I tried to. I didn't want to go back and watch the whole thing, so I just tried to take notes and try to point out. So Jules at 3 hours in, she was saying it's all about respect. So Emmanuel ended up being a 8 hours, 7-8 hours conversation. I think you came in around 5 hours. So around 3 hours, she was saying it's all about respect. So I got named. So Sunny got combative around 3 hours and 27 minutes. So if you want to go back and watch it, that's when Sonny got combative with Jules and started calling Jules uneducated. So about 3 hours and 29 minutes in, Jewel confesses that sis, I think Jules said she had confused. Yeah, Jules confused SIS with CIS. And she goes on to just saying it's all about respect. So 3 hours 42 minutes in is where Sonny is telling her she feels that way because she don't understand the word and how it's a scientific word. And what a lady is saying, I don't care about the history of the word, just respect women feelings about not wanting to be called that. So about 3 hours and 45 minutes, Jules like, do you want us to know you have a license? Because respect is respect. See, this is when Sonny is steady. It seems she's either talking condescending to her or always about I'm a nurse in the medical bills and things like that. So the Jules is at that point like, are you just saying this because you want us to know you got a license? Like all I'm saying is respect is respect. So respect what I'm saying. So 3 hours 45 minutes 48, Sonny started telling her she don't understand the autonomy of it or the applications. She don't understand the word or she don't understand the applications of the word. So around 3 hours 51 minutes in, Reckless chimes in and use the argument sis is used to distinguish between bio women and trans women, using that argument that people tells trans women that you must disclose, but that's nonsense because when people say you must disclose, once you say you trans woman, everyone and their mama know what that means. So around 3 hours 51 minutes in, Reckless come in and saying that the term was created to distinguish biological women against trans women. Then he was saying the whole y'all always telling trans women they must disclose that that's a trans woman. So now y'all should be all right with the term because that helps them to disclose that that's a trans woman. And what I was saying is that to me that sounds like nonsense because once you say trans woman, you know they're a trans woman. You don't have to use the term cisgender. And if you're disclosing that you're a trans woman, that means you're not cisgender. So what does that term have to do with anything? Is what I was saying. So around 3 hours 55 minutes in, the last thing I heard Funky or no Conscious say. Yeah, okay, so then I go into talking about when I heard Funky say, "Why is this a thing?" What I was just talking about. Why is this a thing between trans women and why is this a thing between trans women and women? He answered because at the end of the day, trans men are biological women and biological men are not going to allow a woman to overtake their space. So with the video, I only went to around 3 hours and 51 minutes in with the back and forth because I think you don't come in until around 5 hours in. But by that point, I was like, you know what? I ain't finna go through this whole video all over again. But yes, the term cisgender was created by the first man who coined the term in 1941. He coined the term cis. It was cis something that he coined the term, but that's the first on record of it being known in 1941, and that was by that man is actually a gay man. And then the term the Dana one, and she has a whole article where she talked about it because she was like, I never created this term for it to be such division between women. It's a recent article I seen. I'm gonna send it to you in email if I can find it again. But she's actually a trans woman.
Yes, please send me
Yeah.
that, please, so I can actually read that
Actually,
on my show.
and it's not said until like the end of the interview of this article, and it doesn't say it straight out. If she says, "Because we," and I'm like, wait a minute, this is a trans woman who created this term, and it's a trans woman. Wait a minute, baby, it's a trans woman who created the term for biological women. Y'all wonder why women have a problem. Wait, let me go. Give me a minute.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, while she steps off, anybody who's catching a playback of this video, make sure y'all like the video so sis can get in the algorithm. She's doing a great job. I'm supporting her. Fell in love with her today. She came into my show, so showed some support. So anybody
Okay.
watching the back play, make sure y'all hit that like button.
I'm gonna be behind the scenes trying to see if I can. That's her name. Her name is Dana B. False, and she's the one who don't. Get her. Y'all go back up in there and shut the door, please. What chocolate is she eating? She's talking about some chocolate.
Brownies, the Costco brownies.
Hey, sis, if you would like, oh, that's your daughter.
She's just determined to get in this doggone.
Yeah, but sis, if you can, to hello.
Yes.
But sis, if you can, I'm gonna be doing the show around 8 o'clock tonight. I'm gonna shoot for 8 o'clock. I'm still
Okay.
confirming the interview I got at 6 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
Still waiting for her to write me back and confirm that she's still doing it. But I got this show scheduled about the trans playing role and all that stuff today at 8. So because I also
Okay.
want to bring
You
up a
going
quick
through
point.
the interview that she did?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna look through when I take my break. I'm actually gonna go read that because I think you got a better article than I got. So, and then right before I leave, I do want to ask you a question.
Okay. And so I think I shared. I'm trying to Let me see. I think I shared the article. Yeah. And this is actually the lady who turned up. Now here come the dog. Go ahead. Go out. Get her over there. Tony. Get her. They did have went upstairs and they over here is clowning. I'm like, where did you go? Because they is having a field day. They back in videos. They back in videos speaking and everything. So I'm trying to find the part in here where it saddened me to hear this is the lady who coined the term. So it saddened me to hear that people feel harmed by the word cisgender. Is the creation of the word to blame? No, cisgender is just a straw man. It is easier to attack a word than address the reason people feel intimidated by discussion of gender identity. So she go into talking about this cis purity, and y'all could go ahead. I put the link in there in case you want to go and read it. But I'm just trying to find some because people are gonna say, "Oh, she's not a cis woman." She's not a transgender, and she is a transgender created this word. Not saying that that the word is not valid because it was created by transgender, but people are telling cisgender women that the word was created by us, for us. And I'm like, I don't, not to me. So recent, and I have statistics about, the suicide rate and things. So I'm like, it'll be an informative article. And you see how far I'm strolling down before she identifies as being transgender.
Yeah, sis, make sure you please send me that article so I can read that for my show.
See, I'm gonna have to go up because it's almost at the end of the article. It diminishes all, in other words. Okay. In my opinion, the number of people identifying as trans or non-binary isn't necessarily growing. They have always been there. It's just that no one acts, and awareness and acceptance have made it possible for kids with gender dysphoria to better understand themselves and achieve self-esteem. As a bloomer, I didn't even know trans people existed until decades after experiencing what I later learned was gender dysphoria. Had I seen trans people in daily life, I may have avoided the feeling of fear and isolation that were sometimes so unbearable that I lost the will to live. No matter how hard fanatics try to erase trans people, we will endure. That's how she identified. This is what at the end of the article when she identified as a trans person. We will endure because we have been here throughout history and are not going anywhere. I'm proud of what trans people have achieved, but I also know we can never drop our guard, especially at this critical time. Like any civil rights movement, constant vigilance is vital. History is full of examples of how quickly society can pivot against a minority group, sometimes with devastating consequences. I would like to think that understanding will change the climate for trans people, but the stigma of racism, Jim Crow, and misnography makes me realize that hate has the power to endure. The greatest hope is that more people realize that science is complicity, that the anti-trans movement targets people of color, overlap of hate, has a long and dark history, and so on and so forth. So I just want to, because I don't see many people talking about the fact that this word was created, was coined, and that's it. Just say it was coined by a graduate student. The graduate student name is Dana DeFalsa, and she is a trans woman. And when they said 1914 that it was the term was created by a gay man, I'm like, those are two people who the word does not address, but created the word to be used for things that it don't affect them. You know what I'm saying? So for the person who the word affects to come out and have an opinion about it, I think that should be taken more valid than just because, oh, this word is a medical term and you should be all right with it. Is my opinion on both and that situation. But I will be, that's about all I had to say about it. So we'll see if I get canceled.
Nah, so she's gonna be all right. Cause like I said, it's the younger guys, the younger babies. You know what I'm saying? They the one running around with this cancel culture and trying to connect the black experience with the trans experience with the LGBT experience. It's the babies, and they.
I see you didn't cut out. I don't know if you know or not, but you didn't cut out. But I will agree with you on that, because if you ask older, and this is just my personal experience that I have had within the gay community. If I ask older black guys, what do they identify as? And this is not about their gender. It's what you identify as first. And they like, I'm black first and then I'm gay. But I act younger black guys, they tell me they're gay first, then they're black. I was like, I didn't understand
Yeah,
that.
it's the younger babies. It's the younger, because when people ask me, I tell them, bro, I'm black first, and
Yeah.
then my sexual orientation is next. But you know, because like I told them, I could be a little biased, just a little bit, because
Mm-hmm.
all my hardships and all the shit that I suffered here on this earth had more to do with the color of my skin and me being a woman, my
Right.
sexuality. Right. Only
Mm-hmm.
people who really kind of ever gave me a hard time for my sexuality was black men.
Mm-hmm.
You know, black women never really bothered me for being gay. White people never bothered me much for being gay.
Mm-hmm.
It was I only got discriminated when black men. So that's why I told them I'm a little biased, but I'm, like I said, I'm more patient with the babies. Don't worry about them canceling you, because as much as they keep trying to cancel Flame Road, that's not who goes and support Flame Road. The older audience who've been watching
Yeah.
Flame for years, because she's a legend. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
She, at the end of the day, he, she, we, whatever he wants to identify, he's a legend in his generation.
Mm-hmm.
For him as much, but it's okay for them to have a dislike. The younger guys, if you don't like them, you don't like them. You know, I
Yeah.
don't like
Yeah.
50 Cent. You know,
Yeah.
I don't care for him too much. So it's okay not to like somebody, but to try to cancel somebody because they, you know, you just find them disagreeable, I think it's just a little immature.
Yeah,
So
I think that I said, and that's part of the reason why I started the YouTube channel. I said there's plenty of YouTube, and I don't think it's so many of them. It's probably not nothing that's individualized. But I said I don't know anybody that I agree with everything that they say, but I'll watch it because I agree with certain things. I don't think if anybody watching my channel, they're gonna agree with everything that I say at all times. I believe it becomes a problem when you want to get the person counsel, and then that's where do we learn, where do we grow from if we are not willing to have conversations, like
I,
unless it's something hurtful as far as kids, rape, some violence, racism, if it's something that's going to be harmful to a person, and to
That's
me,
well.
talking about whether you agree with cisgender or not, to me is not harmful to a person. Like
Absolutely.
y'all would have to educate me on how that is. I understand transphobia is harmful to a person. I understand homophobia is harmful to people because people try to do something to you because of who you are. But just a discussion on why you don't agree with the terms, if you're not saying homophobic or transphobic things, just you saying I don't agree with it, I'd rather be called a biological woman or a natural woman, I don't understand how that translates into now you transphobic or homophobic.
Well, and also they also told me that I was transphobic because I said I feel like trans women should disclose before they have any sexual contact with a heterosexual male.
Yeah.
They called me transphobic for that too, because I was even trying to explain to them that I feel like I'm not saying wear a t-shirt you
No.
saying trans woman, like you don't have to do that. But
Right.
before there's a sexual contact, any sexual contact,
Right.
I feel like a man has a right to his body, and if
Mm-hmm.
he has made a decision that he doesn't want to lay down with a man, regardless if it's biological man or a
Right.
trans man, that is his right. I feel like you
Yeah.
should not force anyone to engage in any type of sex that they don't want to. And it's clear that
Right.
they do not want to. Give these men, as much as they get on
Yeah.
my fucking nerves, give these men a choice
Yeah.
of what they who they want to lay down with. And then
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's just kind of crazy because and this is what I be trying to, when I talk to my trans friends and stuff like that, I be telling them like, let's also be honest too. A lot of you trans women, not all, but a lot of them, they don't want to date gay men. They actually want to date men that's heterosexual who are attracted
Right.
to biological women. So that's
Mm-hmm.
another thing that they don't want to admit to. Not saying they're trying to trick them. I ain't going that far. When some people like, oh, the trans trying to take over and they trying to trick our men, and I'm not going that deep into it.
Yeah. No.
But I'm saying, for as their sexual preference, like for as what they want,
Mm-hmm.
they do not want a gay man who would sleep with a man if he wears a
Right.
wig or if he doesn't wear a wig. You know what I'm saying? They don't
Yeah.
want gay men, openly gay men. They actually want the heterosexual men who go after biological women. So that's
Yeah.
what I told them. I was like, so let's not play these games. Like, it's both sides of the fence. Everybody kind of got their own biases, and it's okay to have a preference. Just like I'm
Yeah.
telling you, when I tell my story about the trans woman who sexually harassed me, she got aggressive with me and started threatening me as soon as I told her I have no interest of sleeping with a biological man. I mean,
Uh-huh.
a trans person, because
Yeah.
of, I'd rather be with a biological woman. That's what I'm into. To
Right.
me, it's as if I'm still having sex with a man, regardless if you have a wig on or not, right?
Uh-huh.
But I got, the person went off on my ass.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and you upset with me because I have a sexual preference? you know,
Yeah.
like, you know, but that's what I'm
But that's
telling you,
that's
sis.
the same
It
thing
gets
though. I mean,
deep.
it's the same thing in reverse. You're doing the same thing where you call people homophobic and things of that nature. If you're gonna be upset with a person because of their preference, that's a preference. Like it's not saying anything bad about you. That's what people. Oh, I like short girls. I like tall girls. I
That's what
like
I
tall
keep
men.
telling them.
I don't fuck with fat women. Or I
No,
like
I told them. I told them I'm with you, sis. If what they're saying causes harm or
Mhm,
harmful or hurtful, that's when you can add the phobia, right? Because it's a
mhm.
danger. But if for somebody just simply disagreeing with you based off of medical terms, social construct terms, just the English definition of the functionality of a word, you know, like that, it shouldn't go that fucking far, bro. You feel
No.
what I'm saying? Like how I'm gonna be fucking transphobic
Mhm,
because I said I'm not interested in having sex. I'm not
mhm,
interested in having sex with a biological man too. So what does that make
mhm.
me? Am I heterosexual phobic? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just ridiculous,
Right.
you know?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and I'm telling you, and I'm telling you, I love my trans women, but sometimes they do be going too far. And I tell them
Mhm.
that because I told Records, I can show you a video of a trans woman say, and you bitches are just jealous and y'all mad because we still in y'all man and we
Yeah.
look better than y'all and waiting in the day
I
they
I
make
done seen
the
plenty of
day, hold on, sis, this the killer. They said in the day that they make an artificial womb, it's over for you bitches. Like, don't that sound hateful?
Yeah.
Like you hate the woman. Like
Yeah.
the day they make artificial wombs, it's over for you bitches. I'm like, well, damn. So you just don't respect your mother? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Right.
I mean, what is the artificial womb? You would still have to get that egg from who? A
Yeah.
biological woman.
Right.
Like, you still would have to. So if you're trying to go through this eliminating a woman type shit, good luck. You
Mm.
still need her DNA. You need half male, half female, right?
Mm-hmm.
So unless they invent some shit where you don't need the other gender, and then that's when I'm be questioning God. Hey, is there a God or are we God? Because
I think
you know,
that's the cloning process.
right. But that's what I'm telling you. I've heard them say some hurtful shit on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I
Yeah.
be telling trans people are not innocent. Them motherfuckers can be just as unruly and rude and fucking hurtful.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't see it at all.
Yeah, and I had addressed that earlier too. I said because to me, when it talks about trans, a lot of it is, and I heard I want to say you said her name was Sable. She was saying when you got into the when you start discussing whether a trans woman they only would identify a trans woman as a woman if she looks like a aesthetically like a woman, but there are also who trans women who look more masculine but they still want to be accepted as women. But one of the main things that I see is the trans women, the moment you get into it with a biological woman, the first thing you're doing is attacking the way she looks. It's about your hair and your makeup and bitch, you man, we look better than y'all as though you men. And I'm just like, when I'm like, oh, you can't ask for what you ain't willing to give.
Yeah, I mean, I heard of that argument too. That the only time they want to give them the label woman if they are what they call passable or some shit like
Yeah,
that,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
because there are just like the trans woman who was interested in me and who I turned her down. It was obvious that this was a male because of
Mm-hmm.
all of her masculine features, her biological masculine. You can
Mm-hmm.
obviously see this. I mean, it was very strong a male, a female, a male appearing person, right? You can see
Yeah.
like even with the her trying to shave and even with the wigs, and you could just tell.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
and I just felt like it was just a little crazy because I mean I don't really know. That's something that in the future they're gonna have to like probably figure that out because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I told Sable, you just admitted that you're identifying with the feminine expression, the
Mm-hmm.
gender expression of a woman.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe y'all should like fight for another term besides woman. Maybe come up with something different.
Mm-hmm.
you know, like I don't know, like even just get rid of trans woman and just come up with a new term that's just specifically for y'all. Because unfortunately, there are going to be trans women who, no matter how much surgery they get or whatever, they're not going to look like the feminine gender expression woman they're trying to seek to look like, right? Because let's be honest, there's some females that are biological women, but some people question are they are male or female because
Yeah.
of their strong features,
Uh-huh.
right? So that's why I said I don't even know where to go with that,
Yeah.
what to say about it.
Yeah, because like we said, these terms was created. And all them people were European, but we're discussing it. And what I still haven't heard the answer to the question is that we're not getting away from using the term trans women. Is there a problem with the term trans women or trans men? If we're not if we're still using that term, what's the point of coming up with another term to distinguish when that already does? Unless we're trying to get rid of the term trans woman or trans men, then there's no point of a assist to it because trans already distinguish between the two. And that's why I'm just really so confused. Like, okay, so unless we're just trying to drop trans and just trying to address the trans women as just women, just say women instead of trans women, then I don't understand the point of adding a cis in front of it to identify biological women. Because once you add trans in front of it, you automatically are saying that there are not biological women. So other than that, I'm like, I don't understand what the big pushback is. with women saying, okay, just it's been us being called women all this time. So why we're now adding a prefix in front of it to say what we already was saying, which saying women. We're saying a woman. Like what's this whole prefix for? So what's the whole pushback? Unless we're trying to get rid of the term trans woman, then we were already distinguished. We was already separate as far as to tell someone that you're born a biological woman, or if you're not, by saying I'm a trans woman, bam, automatically not born a biological woman. What else are we distinguishing about? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, but I don't understand this big. Why are we all in an uproar? And now it's a whole them against us, and we can't say this, and we can't. You can't even say I don't agree with the term without this label being put on you. When it's just like, hey, I don't agree with the term. I don't feel like it's necessary. And now, then this is your chance to talk, to say why you feel like this term is necessary. But I haven't heard, and maybe I need to research more. I haven't heard anybody give a valid reason as to why this term is necessary when you already have trans woman. That why there's a necessity to put a term to distinguish biological women when that's already there. So I said maybe it will come out maybe in your convo later on tonight. We'll get down to that, and maybe I'm just naive to the fight and to the whole struggle, because like I said, I'm not in a lifestyle. I do not know, and I'm not past correction. Okay, and I'm not past education, and I am willing to learn it. But y'all gonna have to tell me, because I just went through the history of the word, and I'm the whole point of this is to me to say that anytime that a biological woman say she doesn't agree with the term, what I have seen is her being called transphobic or homophobic. And I would like for biological women to be able to express themselves and express their feelings without being labeled that. Now, if they say some transphobic or homophobic stuff, I understand. But just from them saying, I don't like the term, I don't think the term, like I have said, I don't think the term is necessary. The term was first created by a gay German man, and then second by a trans woman. Neither one of them is a biological woman. So why are you creating terms for us? So, and a mass majority of the women, biological women, do not like the term. And with that being said, there should be no issue, or I should not be labeled transphobic or homophobic simply because I do not like this term that was created for me by a gay man and a trans woman. That's it. Yeah. So I'm about to get on up out here. I still got cooking to do. I don't even know. I think I'm gonna make egg rolls today. Some Southwest egg roll. Last Sunday, the last couple of Sundays, I've been cooking. I had dressing, macaroni, cheese. I ain't made greens, but I made some chickens, fish. So this Sunday, I'm gonna break it down. I think I haven't did egg rolls in a while. I'm gonna do that. Y'all go ahead. Don't forget to like the video, comment. Also subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Follow me on Facebook, Tootie Talk Sense, Instagram, Tootie Talk Sense, Twitter, Tootie Talks. If you want to support the channel, there's the Cash App, Tootie Talk Sense. I ain't got the Venmo, but it's still Tootie Talk Sense. And go ahead and comment what y'all want to talk about next, what we should discuss next. There's always something trending in this news that I'm gonna get on here and talk about. I'm still enjoy the Alabama brawl. I am still happy. I am still singing the song, y'all, and I love to have seen that unity and people come to the defense for that security guard. Okay. That's all I had to say about that, y'all. I updated y'all on Lizzo, updated y'all that the fifth person have been charged in the Alabama brawl. It was only 3 white guys, 1 white woman, and the chairman. They have all been charged. The chairman got charged with disorderly conduct. That's all I have to say. I don't know, Neil, if you wanted to come and add something before I get on up out of here or not, but I'm about to get out of here.
Just saying, thank you for being bold and talk about this. Like, there's some warriors, boy. If you're ready to fight about this, thank you for just being bold enough. And like I said, everybody know I love Conscious. I love Reckless. They mature enough to understand that there's definitely a generation gap. I'm gonna speak about it on my show. don't forget to email me that article so I can go back and read over it, because I don't think that's the same one I was reading. And
Okay.
keep up the good work, sis. So prosperity to your show for real. So
Thank you.
all right, have a good one.
Have a good one. And everybody
Yeah.
else out there, I'll talk to y'all next time. Enjoy the rest of y'all day. Bye.